Imagine a world on the cusp of rapid change, a world where the hum of machines is becoming the new normal. This was the dawn of the Industrial Revolution, a period that saw a seismic shift in how society and the economy functioned. It was a time when steam-powered factories sprouted like mushrooms, their iron and steel hearts beating to the rhythm of progress. With these factories came machines, marvelous inventions that promised efficiency and productivity like never before. But with every promise of progress, there was an equal and opposite reaction. For many workers, these machines were not symbols of progress, but harbingers of doom. They saw their livelihoods threatened by these iron monstrosities, their skills and expertise rendered obsolete. The world was changing, and not everyone was ready to change with it. But not everyone welcomed this new era. Some even resisted it fiercely. Enter the Luddites, a group of individuals who saw the future and resisted it. As the Industrial Revolution surged forward, these ordinary workers, artisans and craftsmen found their world turned upside down. They watched as factories sprouted like mushrooms, machines humming and clanking, churning out products in volumes unimaginable. The Luddites, named after the mythical figure Ned Ludd, were not technophobes, as we often imagine them. They didn't fear the future. They feared losing their livelihoods, their skills rendered obsolete by the relentless march of machines. They saw these iron behemoths not as marvels of progress, but as monstrous usurpers, taking away their jobs, their dignity, their autonomy. In response, they did what any cornered creature would do. They fought back. The Luddites began to secretly gather, plotting in the dead of night. They armed themselves with sledgehammers and crowbars, their weapons of choice against the iron and steel invaders. Their targets were the looms and frames, the machines that had taken over their work. They attacked under the cover of darkness, their acts of defiance echoing in the silent night. Their rebellion wasn't just about smashing machines. It was a plea, a desperate cry for a more balanced approach to progress. They stood up for the rights of workers, for the preservation of skills and crafts, and for the human spirit's resilience. They were willing to risk everything, even their lives, to protect their way of life. The authorities responded with brutal force, with many Luddites arrested, prosecuted, and even executed. But their spirit was not easily crushed. Their struggle resonated, their message echoing through the centuries. The Luddites were not against progress, but rather the impact it had on their lives. They understood, perhaps more than anyone else at the time, that unchecked progress can have dire consequences. They remind us that while we should welcome innovation and change, we should also be mindful of who pays the price for such progress. The Luddite movement may be a historical footnote, but its message still resonates today. Born from the fires of the Industrial Revolution, the Luddites were not just rebels or destroyers of machines. They were defenders of a way of life that valued the human touch, the skilled craftsman, and the dignity of labor. Fast forward more than 200 years, and we find ourselves in a world not too dissimilar from the one the Luddites faced. The march of technology and automation continues unabated, changing the way we live, work, and connect. But the spirit of the Luddites, that spirit of resistance and resilience, lives on. Today, modern scholars remind us of the enduring relevance of the Luddite movement. They argue that the Luddites were not against progress or technology per se, but rather the unchecked, unregulated manner in which it was imposed. The Luddites, they contend, were fighting for a more equitable, more humane future, one where progress did not mean displacement or dispossession. And their legacy? It can be seen in the movements and protests that dot our contemporary landscape. From advocates for sustainable living who resist the throwaway culture of consumerism, to activists fighting for workers' rights in an increasingly automated world, the echoes of the Luddite revolt can be heard. There's a growing recognition that progress should not be pursued at all costs. That in our rush to embrace the new and the novel, we must not forget the human element. That innovation should serve us, not the other way around. The spirit of the Luddites lives on, reminding us to consider the human cost of progress. Their story, their struggle, is a testament to the enduring power of human resilience and the timeless struggle for dignity and respect. It is a legacy that continues to inspire, to challenge, and to provoke. Because at the end of the day, the Luddites were not just fighting against machines. They were fighting for us. So what can we learn from the Luddites? A question that sends us swimming in the deep, turbulent waters of history. We learn that the Luddites were not simply destroyers of machines, but defenders of a way of life. They held a mirror to society, reflecting the stark reality of a world where progress and prosperity were not shared equally among all. The Luddites challenged the notion that technological advancement should be pursued at any cost. They were a voice for the voiceless, championing the cause of the common worker whose livelihood was being swept away by the tidal wave of industrialization. They teach us that every technological leap we take should be tempered with a thoughtful consideration of its impacts. It's not just about how much faster, more efficient, or more profitable a new technology can make us, but also about who might be left behind in its wake. The Luddites remind us to ask, who benefits from this progress and who pays the price? In the age of artificial intelligence, automated factories, and self-driving cars, these lessons are more relevant than ever. As we stand on the precipice of another industrial revolution, it's crucial that we heed the warnings of the Luddites. Progress for the sake of progress is not necessarily a path to prosperity. Rather, it's a journey that should be embarked upon with care, forethought, and a deep sense of responsibility towards all members of society. And so, as we navigate our rapidly changing world, let's remember the Luddites. Let's remember their courage, their conviction, and their commitment to the dignity of work and the value of human life. Let's remember that, like them, we too have a voice, and we too can question the status quo. Most importantly, let's remember that progress and compassion are not mutually exclusive. We can embrace the new while still cherishing the old. We can march towards the future without trampling over the past. We can innovate without isolating. Remember the Luddites, for they remind us that progress should always be balanced with compassion. As we embrace the future, let's not forget the lessons of the past. From the dawn of industrialization till today, the Luddite movement has left us a significant legacy, reminding us to always consider the human cost of technological advancement. It wasn't about being against progress, but rather about standing up for the livelihoods and autonomy that were threatened by the relentless march of technology. Even now, echoes of their resistance can be seen in modern movements advocating for workers' rights, sustainable living, and local economies. As we marvel at each new gadget and innovation, let's remember to balance progress with compassion, considering those who may be left behind. The Luddites weren't backward. They were ahead of their time, fighting for a future that benefits all. Thank you for watching. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to subscribe for more thought-provoking content.